Hey you guys, it's Taquisha, and today we are in the garden and we are figuring out how to have optimal space. I'm excited about this one because I'm going to be moving some things around and really figuring out this space so that we can plant as much as we can plant. It is such a beautiful day out here today, and I'm so happy to take you along on this journey. So if you caught our last video, you saw that we fenced in our extension, which added so much extra room to the garden. We literally doubled our garden space, which is so incredible. If you haven't been following along for a while, this whole entire space was like 30-40 foot bamboo, and so it was insane. And bamboo is super aggressive, so we knew that we had to not only dig it up but cover it up for a while. And so we wanted to very badly use this space, so we decided to make this part of the garden a container garden. And so we took some of the bamboo and made boxes and just laid down some mulch, and this space is just really starting to transform. There's so much space to add more containers, which I'm excited about, and I do hope to be able to add more containers. But right now we have our trees along the back side of that fence, and then we have our 5 containers over here right now that we are going to be planting in for the fall. And so I've just been looking forward to this area being closed in for so long, and I'm so excited that it finally is. And the garden space is just looking, it's so promising. The garden space is just so promising, just being all together. If you're thinking about enclosing a space, definitely check that out. We did it in the easiest way possible. We used welded wire with some T-posts, and the fence is good enough. Listen, it will definitely do the job. My hope is to eventually string some lights on the top of those posts, and I did paint those posts, spray paint those posts black with my favorite type of spray paint. So it's doing so good so far. It has not done me wrong, and so I'm thinking it's going to hold up over here as well. So these bamboo boxes were very time consuming to build, but it was our free resource, and so we definitely wanted to use that. So we were able to build these, and inside of them is the fabric cloth just to hold in the soil. They aren't absolutely perfect, but they're perfect, if you know what I mean. Bamboo is just a natural material. It has different ways about it. It's not perfectly straight and all the things. And so the perfect thing about it though is that it's so strong. And as if you watched any of our previous videos about our bamboo, you know it is hard to get rid of. And so it's definitely a really great building material. And so we love using what we have on hand to make our garden, and anybody can do it. You can literally look around and see what it is that you have available for yourself and use it to create a functional, beautiful space. We did that as well on our patio porch using the broken concrete, or urbanite. If you heard somebody say that, that just means it's concrete that's broken up into pieces, and you can use that to absolutely transform a garden space. So right now we have 2 of our beds. These 2 front beds are planted, and these 3 back beds are going to be planted as well. And here we have some carrots that's looking good. When I first took the boards off, I used boards to help the seeds to germinate and not be washed away. They were all pale, but as you can see now, they're looking nice. They've turned green and they're doing well. And on the other side is kale, and I'm actually going to be plugging in probably either some radishes or carrots along both sides to really utilize the full space. The mulch that was used in this space was all free. I contacted just a local person who cuts down trees. There's a name for that. I'm not great with pronouncing that, so I'm not even gonna try. But yeah, and they just came by and they just dropped like 2 loads and told me that if I ever needed more, they would be happy to drop it off. It's a win-win because they actually cut down trees, and when they chop them up into mulch, they actually have to pay to drop it off at wherever that is. And so when they can drop it off for free, you know, it's a benefit to us and to them. So the thing about mulch that I didn't realize, so mulch, roaches love mulch. So when you move this stuff around, we actually were really fortunate to get some cedar, which is what's over here. For the most part, it's cedar. And so that was really great. But there are still roaches. Roaches love pine straw, which we have lots of pine trees, and they also love mulch or wood chips. And so if you don't know that, I did not know that. That is something that you should definitely know and consider before, you know, building your garden and deciding to use mulch. You should know that. So yes, we use a lot of free materials for this space. This bed in the middle was sent to me, and I cannot wait to plant it out with some things for the fall. I'm just so looking forward to that green of all those leaves to pop against that blue. It's just going to be so fun to look at and to walk out here every day and to see. So I'm really excited about that. I had my two smallest girls come out earlier and try to get as many rocks as they could. These rocks went all the way down. If you are new here, we just expanded this garden, and so this was the outside of the garden space, and now it's enclosed into the garden space. And so I want to take out the things that we don't need. So we don't need rocks, I don't need plastic or this decorative mulch, and so all of this is going to be taken up so that can be planting space. And I'm going to be moving these things, which are different types of berries, to the fence. Because they aren't heavy plants, I'm okay with them growing right along the fence. But as I'll show you on the other side, I have a cattle panel just like this, and it has grapes on it, and I'm actually going to leave that there and allow the grapes to stay there so they can grow. Because they're so heavy, I don't want the grapes to grow directly on our fence because I don't want it to weigh the fence down. Let's see. What did you make?
I don't know what it's called.
Man, that's really cool.
This goes in there.
That's really cool, Princeton. I love that. Okay, so here's the other side. That's exactly like what I just told you. This was the outside of the garden, and now it's the inside of the garden. And so we're going to remove the plastic and mulch. And I had my daughters come out here earlier, and they took the rocks. So that's why this is exposed. So they took the rocks from here. And so now my other daughter, she is going to just be getting up this plastic and this black mulch so that we can prepare it for planting. So yeah, so we got that dug out and placed on the front. So now you have a visual of what I was talking about. And we would like for all of the berries to run along the side of the fence. I was thinking it would be so cool, like, to have tomatoes here next year, since I already have this trellis, and I knew that I was going to be moving the tomatoes next season. And so I'm thinking this would be still a really great place to have tomatoes next year. Okay, so she got all that, most of the mulch and plastic up from here. So we'll be able to prepare this space to get some things in the ground over here. So I'm really excited about that. In the space next to here, this is where my son and daughter planted some beets that I have not seen sprout up in this area yet. And this tomato was actually trellised onto the fence with some bamboo, but I did not pull it up because it has so many flowers up here. So I just leaned it on our archway here because it literally has so many flowers, and I'm just so shocked that it's still trying to produce. And I'm hearing that it's going to do that until until the frost. And so I'm gonna try to keep it here as long as I can. And so I don't know how long that's gonna be, but man, I love seeing those tomato flowers. I know they're relieved that it's not as hot as it's been. But yeah, so that is what's going on here. There are several beets here and here. Although they are not sprouted yet, I don't really know what's going on with that. I might have to revisit those specific ones. So even though I'm going to be leaving these grapes on this trellis and leaving this trellis here instead of moving them to grow along the fence, I am going to clear this area because there's enough room for me to squeeze back here, or somebody to squeeze back here and harvest some things, because it's just too much great space not to plant. Like, you don't need that much space. So if this makes sense, this is my foot and it's like 2 of my feet, so that's like so much space right here to be able to plant a good bit of stuff, and especially since it's straight into the ground. And so I'm going to be thinking about, maybe I could do some beets here, maybe we could do radishes here, maybe we could do some carrots over here, just using every bit of space that we have to produce food for our family. So right now, as far as this space and this space goes, if you guys remember, we had cucumbers growing up this trellis, and there were tomatoes back there and peppers on both sides. And so now there is Brussels sprouts planted here. There's a pepper plant still trying to live, a few pepper plants, and 1 tomato plant over there still living. And so I just plugged some, I believe those are Brussels sprouts and maybe cabbage in with these things. But this area is unplanted, as well as back here it's not planted yet. So I'm really trying to think about what I can do with that space. But I know that we can plant so many things in ground here, and so I just want to have as much planted as possible, so that we can have just such a great harvest this fall. And finally, I just wanted to show you this area right here. My son did spend some time getting up these rocks. I want to show you how that went. If you remember last time, I was telling you that I really had a desire to do this and to use these pieces of cement, urbanite, to make a space like we did over on the garden porch. Okay, I stumbled and bumbled because there was a mosquito that's sucking my life. Okay, I would love for this space to look like the garden porch, where we could just leave a few sections and plant some thyme, some of that creeping thyme in there. Somebody commented and gave me such a good reminder to not plant it like too much on the surface, really, just because I needed this door to be able to close, and so that's why I needed to level this space out. I definitely need to keep that in mind. So yeah, so this space is going to be so great, just using what we have here and just filling in the gaps. And so I'm looking forward to that and getting that accomplished. This was a big part of the task, and I'm so happy for his muscle, so he can come out here and help his mama out, because I need all the help I can get. Today's been such a productive day. I'm so happy that I'm able to share our plans and just kind of show you and walk through the garden with you, and also to show you the container garden and the hopes for it, how far it's come. If you're new here and you had not known yet about that bamboo, now you know that is our container garden, because it was our forest of bamboo before. This space has transformed tremendously, and so I just look forward to continuing to think about how to make it great, how to make it optimal, so that we can plant as many things as we can, so we can grow all the things for our family, and just have this incredible experience together, just planting and growing and learning and all the things. It's such a wonderful experience. If you are thinking about growing stuff, you definitely should. I'll see you guys next time.